Imagine a river, a mighty current born from countless ancient streams, carving its path through a vast and fertile land. This river is Nigeria, and its story is one of incredible depth, power, and resilience. Our journey today will follow this river from its earliest sources to the sprawling delta it has become. Let's travel back in time to the headwaters. Millennia ago, diverse peoples settled this land. The Nok civilization, flourishing around 1500 BC in central Nigeria, were among the earliest known ironworkers in West Africa. Think of them as the first springs, their terracotta sculptures a testament to a sophisticated culture feeding into the nascent river. Further south, the Igbo people, around the 9th century AD, left behind intricate bronze artifacts, revealing a society rich in artistry and trade. These weren't isolated ponds, they were powerful sources, each with a unique character, beginning to merge and flow. As our river gathers strength, it forms great kingdoms and empires. The Yoruba kingdoms of Ife and Oyo rise like powerful tributaries. Ife, considered the spiritual homeland of the Yoruba people, produced breathtaking naturalistic sculptures in bronze and terracotta. Oyo grew into a formidable military and political force, its cavalry dominating the savannah. To the north, the Hausa city-states like Kano and Katsina became bustling centers of commerce, crucial stops on the trans-Saharan trade routes, connecting West Africa to the Mediterranean world. And then there's the magnificent Benin Empire, a powerhouse of art, administration, and influence, whose famous bronze plaques tell vivid stories of court life and history. Each of these empires added immense volume and complexity to our river, shaping its course and identity. But the river's flow was not always smooth. The 15th century brought a dramatic change in its course. European ships arrived on the coast, first to trade for gold, ivory, and spices. But soon, a darker current emerged, the transatlantic slave trade. This was a catastrophic period, a violent diversion of the river's energy. Millions of people, the very lifeblood of the land, were forcibly taken, causing deep and lasting trauma. It was a time of immense turmoil, where the river's waters were stained with sorrow and its natural development brutally disrupted. By the late 19th century, the era of legitimate trade gave way to outright colonization. European powers carved up Africa, and Britain began to consolidate its control over the territories that would become Nigeria. This was like building a massive dam. In 1914, the southern and northern protectorates were amalgamated by Lord Lugat, not for the river's benefit, but for administrative convenience. A single name, Nigeria, was imposed on this vast collection of over 250 distinct ethnic groups. The dam held back the natural flow, creating immense pressure as diverse cultures and political systems were forced into a single colonial container. But a river can't be dammed forever. The desire for freedom began to surge. A new generation of educated Nigerians, nationalists like Herbert Macaulay, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Obafemi Awolowo, and Ahmadu Bello rose as powerful currents of resistance. They used newspapers, political parties, and protests to demand self-rule. They campaigned tirelessly, navigating the complex colonial structures to channel the people's desire for independence. The pressure mounted against the colonial dam, and the roar for freedom grew louder and louder. On October 1, 1960, the dam finally broke. Nigeria gained its independence. The river was free to chart its own course again. The early years were filled with incredible optimism and hope. There was a flowering of arts and culture, a sense of boundless possibility. It felt like a glorious new dawn as the river surged forward into a future of its own making. However, the path of a newly freed river is often turbulent. The colonial legacy had left deep cracks in the bedrock. Regional and ethnic tensions, suppressed under British rule, erupted. Political instability led to a military coup in 1966, followed by a tragic counter-coup. These events were like violent rapids, culminating in the devastating Nigerian Civil War from 1967 to 1970. The nation fought to stay whole, a painful, scarring experience that tested the river's very ability to remain a single entity. The motto, "To keep Nigeria one is a task that must be done," became a solemn vow. The decades following the war were a mix of rapids and calm stretches. The discovery of oil in the 1970s brought immense wealth, a black gold rush. It felt like a sudden, powerful flood, funding massive infrastructure projects, and raising Nigeria's profile on the world stage. But this oil boom also brought challenges: corruption, environmental degradation in the Niger Delta, and an over-reliance on a single commodity. It was a period of military rule, a series of dams and diversions that controlled the political flow, punctuated by brief returns to civilian government. Then, in 1999, the river carved a decisive new channel. Nigeria returned to democratic rule, a path it continues to navigate today. This democratic era has been a long, winding stretch. It's had its share of challenges: insurgency, economic fluctuations, and the ongoing struggle to build a truly equitable nation. It's a journey filled with the noisy, vibrant, and sometimes chaotic energy of a multi-party democracy. But it is a journey of self-determination. Today, the Nigerian river flows as a massive, sprawling delta, emptying into the vast ocean of the 21st century. It is a nation of over 200 million people, a powerhouse of culture, creativity, and enterprise. From the global phenomenon of Nollywood and the chart-topping sounds of Afrobeats to the innovative spirit of its tech entrepreneurs in Lagos, Nigeria's influence is undeniable. The river's delta is rich, fertile, and teeming with life. The story of Nigeria, like any great river, is not just about the destination. It's about the journey. It's a story of ancient sources, mighty empires, painful disruptions, and an unrelenting struggle for freedom and progress. It's a story of resilience, the ability to absorb shocks, to carve new paths around obstacles, and to keep flowing. The river has faced droughts and floods, but its current remains strong. It carries the wisdom of the past, the energy of the present, and the promise of the future. The river flows on, a powerful, undeniable force, shaping its own destiny. Thank you for joining me on this journey along the river of Nigerian history. If you found this story compelling, please like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into our shared human story.